Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Tuesday. It means we're brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos, and plenty to do here on this Tuesday. We've got a national champion in college baseball. We'll talk about it. Glenn West here in 30 minutes talking Tigers. I got to talk about what Rafael Devers did last night. You probably aren't aware of that if you weren't paying attention to West Coast baseball. But I certainly saw it, and I want to mention it. We'll do that a little bit later on. We have reached Alabama in our series about 3 things to look for LSU football opponents in 2026. It's an interesting year for Kalen, DeBoer, and the Crimson Tide. We'll talk about that at 2 o'clock. It's NBA Draft Day. Sharif Ishak is here in 90 minutes. Talk a little bit about the Pels and maybe a thumbnail or two on the New Orleans Saints. So no shortage of talking points. Let's crank it up with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
College baseball's got a new champion. LSU relinquished the crown last night. Oklahoma is the 2026 College World Series champion. I'll start with my stuff if we want to start there. I think there are far bigger fish to fry, but I did. I said in the Super Regional round, I said in the beginning of the College World Series, and I said in the National Final that I just wasn't quite sold on Oklahoma based on what I saw for 56 games. I was sold what I saw for the Super Regional, and I was certainly sold with tremendous play in Omaha. I just wasn't convinced they were going to get all the way to the finish line because I saw a lot of Oklahoma for 56, 57 games if you count the SC tournament, and just wasn't very impressed. But here's the deal. This is college baseball. And while I did not come around on Oklahoma until they hoisted the trophy, I've always told you that this is my favorite sport. And I've always told you the reason it's my favorite sport is because 3 bad weeks don't define you. 4 bad weeks don't define you. Getting swept doesn't define you. A bad conference start doesn't define you. You got to do enough to get in the dance, and then you've got to play your best baseball. And without a shadow of a doubt, Oklahoma played tremendous baseball. In the regional, after they lost to Georgia Tech, coming back twice to beat a really good Georgia Tech team, going up to the Super Regional and just whitewashing Kansas in its own ballpark, and then going to Omaha and sweeping through an all-SEC bracket and beating a very game North Carolina team in the process. You saw Camden Johnson at third base making exceptional defensive plays. You saw a brilliant throw-in from right field to cut down a third out and stop a run from scoring. You saw the offensive capabilities. Dayton LaChance hitting home runs. Branch got on the act late last night. I had gone to bed by that point. But they were absolutely the hottest team playing the best baseball in Omaha. And that is the beauty of this sport. So, yeah, like, Crow, serve it up. I'll eat it by the truckload. Give me a shovel. I can't eat it fast enough. They proved me dead wrong every single step of the way. I think there were better teams in the country than Oklahoma this season. There were no better teams when they got to June. They played the best. They went through Georgia Tech, who went 25-5 in the ACC and won that tournament. They went through them in Atlanta. They went to Lawrence, beat the Big 12 champs soundly. That Super Regional was 21-3, like a football score. And they got into an all-SEC bracket in Omaha, and they beat the best team in the country in Georgia. You play 14 regular season weekends. Georgia won 13 of them. They won the SEC tournament. They won their regional. They won their super. That's 15 out of 16 weeks. They were the victor out of a weekend, and Oklahoma stared them right between the eyes twice in Omaha and beat them. They were the best team, the deserving team at the end. I just didn't see it 56 games, but that's the beauty of the sport. Let me put this into perspective for you. Oklahoma finished 11th in the SEC this year. You know that. They were 14-16. They were 11th in the league. They won 4 of their 10 conference weekends. I told you from this very chair, I liked LSU's game 1 draw in the SEC tournament because I didn't think Oklahoma was that good. And guess what? LSU beat them. That game didn't matter for Oklahoma. I told you that too. They were in. They weren't going to be a host. They were fine. The RPI was good. They're in. They didn't have anything to play for on that Tuesday in Hoover. But I didn't think they were that good, and LSU beat them soundly. But this is a team that finished 11th place through 30 conference games. I'll just let you know who finished 11th in football this past fall. You all watch SEC football. You've got a feel for how teams performed. 11th place in the Southeastern Conference in football this year was shared by 2 programs, the Florida Gators and the Kentucky Wildcats. For their 11th place finish in football this year, they paid Billy Napier and Mark Stoops $59.4 million to get the hell out. That's what 11th place got you in football this year. $60 million in buyouts. What did that get you in basketball this year? Well, Oklahoma, coincidentally, was one of the teams that tied for 11th in the SEC in basketball. They accepted a bid into something called College Basketball Crown, which is beneath the NIT. I'd never heard of it. I found out about it today when I looked it up. I just went to scsports.com. Who finished 11th? Then I went to their schedule. Did they play in the NIT? What'd they do? Nope, they went to the College Basketball Crown. I never heard of it. They tied Auburn, who finished 11th in the SEC this year. You may know this. I didn't. Auburn won the NIT this year. They're 69th best team in the country, I guess. I didn't even know they won the NIT. That shows how important that is. So the 11th place finishers in football fired their coaches for $60 million. The 11th place finishers in basketball got into the NIT and the College Basketball Crown. The baseball team won the national title. Now, you could suggest that's not the most equitable way to decide a champion, and I don't disagree with you. When you win a college football national title, you have to start in August and finish the season and really never let up. You have to earn it in football. You can get beat once. You can let your foot off the gas once, maybe twice. But in Vanderbilt's case, they didn't get in with 2 losses. You've got to be great all year. Is that the best way to crown a champion? Probably. But in this sport, why I love it so much is because you get a chance. And baseball offers the most variability in winning between the better teams and the worst teams. In baseball, LSU every single year, national championship or 9-21 in the league, every single year, Nichols or Northwestern or McNeese is going to beat them. Every year. In basketball, it almost never happens. LSU went like 30 years between losing to in-state teams before Nichols beat them. Anatoly Bose and Cody Worsham were on that team. But that doesn't ever happen in football. I could ask this question. You're driving around right now. I've asked this at trivia, which is the reason I know it. I looked it up. Who was the last in-state team to beat LSU in football? Most of you probably don't know. Some do, but most of you probably don't know. No idea. It was Tulane. Tulane beat LSU a long time ago, but that's the last time LSU lost an in-state game. Variability in baseball is greater. That's why the major leagues play 162 games to figure it out. Can't do it in 30. And so you just got to get in and play. And I will take this Oklahoma team and that Ole Miss team from 2022. You're talking about 2 teams in the very, very recent past. 2 of the last 6 champions have been 14 and 16 in the league. So here's what you're going to get from me moving forward. I'm just going to tell you. I'm not going to throw a fit when LSU loses some conference baseball games. As long as I think they have good players, I'm always going to think they've got a shot to figure it out. Now, sometimes, very rarely, what we just watched will happen, and they never figured it out. They were never good enough. But that team in 2024, that started 3-12, they kind of figured it out. And that North Carolina team they lost to was really good, and they were 3-gauge jump outs away from getting out of that thing. So it's just something I'm going to file away for a later time. The teams in the SEC are so much better than the teams in the rest of the country when you go 1-12. They just are. Absolutely, North Carolina could have competed in the SEC this year. Absolutely, UCLA could have competed in the SEC this year. Absolutely, there are teams throughout the country at the top end of some of the better leagues that can play in the SEC. Their conference records wouldn't be good, but they could play. It's not as if the 10th best team in the SEC is better than all the other conference champions all year long. But the league is so much better because of the investment and the talent level that this is possible annually. The 11th best team in the ACC this year was Louisville. They went 13-17 in the ACC. They were 3 games above 500. They lost 2 out of 3 to Michigan State, and they were swept in Arlington in their pre-conference. They won 3 ACC weekends. They were bad. 11th place in the Big Ten this year, in the ACC also was Stanford. They lost pre-conference weekends to Fresno State and Fullerton, went 13-17. They were bad. Kansas State was 11th in the Big 12. They lost more games at home than they won. They were 3-7 in league weekends in the Big 12. They were bad. In the SEC, the 11th place team is not that bad. And this Oklahoma team came to the box in March. And Cam Johnson started game 1 on a Thursday. He made 1 appearance in the NCAA tournament and didn't get an out against Georgia Tech. LJ Mercurius was basically their ace. He pitched in game 2s, and he became a bullpen guy. They let 3 freshmen take the reins, and they just found lightning in a bottle on offense. So to relate this back home, this sport just allows you to find something at some point. So it's just going to take a lot for me to throw in the towel on an LSU baseball team. Because this is not just one hill. This Fresno State is not going to happen again anytime soon. A 4 seed that shows up and wins the national championship. That was a freak occurrence. The number 11 team in the SEC, the number 8 team in the SEC, the number 6 team in the SEC making a push in Omaha and winning the national championship is not a freak occurrence. That Ole Miss team in 2022 was at one point ranked 1st in the country. This Oklahoma team dominated week 1 in Arlington and showed what it could be. But they had a bad go at the end of the season and lost 4 weekends in a row. I like the intrigue that college baseball provides, even teams that are struggling. And last night, you saw it pay off again in the same way you saw it pay off for Ole Miss. LSU didn't take this route to a championship, neither did Tennessee. But 2 teams in the last 6 years have done it, and it can happen again. So if you're an LSU fan and LSU drops 2 weekends in a row, and it looks like they have real issues at the back end of the rotation, they can't find a closer, just let it happen. Just let it happen. Let it play out. Let a team evolve. Because Skip Johnson's Oklahoma team evolved, and it's no fluke here. By the way, that Oklahoma team, that Ole Miss team that won the championship, they beat Oklahoma in the final. This is not uncharted waters for Skip Johnson. They weren't the best team for 14 weeks of the regular season. They weren't even close. They weren't even a top 10 team in the Southeastern Conference. By the time it mattered and it's time to turn on the lights and go play, they out-homered Georgia Tech. They bludgeoned Kansas. They stared Georgia right between the eyes and knocked them out, and they had a worthy opponent in North Carolina. And North Carolina threw their best 2 bullpen bullets at them in the early innings last night, and Oklahoma just beat them. Great to watch. Great to watch for Oklahoma. Congrats to the Sooners, an absolutely worthy national champion for their postseason performance, and a testament to the variability and the hope that college baseball offers. I loved it. I thought it was a great story, and I was satisfied with the champ. I thought it was an awesome, awesome postseason. I never want to watch one again like that with LSU on the sideline, but I did enjoy that one. And I didn't make it to the end last night because it was 9-1, and I went, well, I'm getting up at 5, might as well go to bed. But it was a heck of a run for the Oklahoma Sooners, so congrats to Skip Johnson and the crew. We're off and running here on a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Events Network Cloud IT Management. Come back with more next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Go by and see him. Segan at Perkins. It's just great technology. I was so impressed when we went in there for the first time at Swing Easy. We did that streaming event that I did. And based on the metrics of the golf ball, you got the accurate response on the simulator on the green. I was playing the 7th hole at Pebble Beach, which is a 95-yard par 3, and I was hitting a little wedge. And when I hit a Titleist Pro V1 that we had, and it spun a lot, it would hit the green and check up. Whenever I had this old beat-up Top Flight that was in there, and I had to hit it, it did not back up. It trundled out. That's the kind of accuracy you get on a simulator. If you've never tried a golf simulator before, Go by and see them. It's not 100 degrees in your private bay. It's not raining. The grass is not dead. It doesn't take 5 hours to play a round of golf. It's just a great opportunity to go in a climate-controlled environment, use some great technology, and enjoy the game of golf. It's Swing Easy Golf Club. They're right there on Seagan at Perkins. You can find them online at swingeasygcbr.com. Become a member. You can also get a corporate membership if you'd like. Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 2025 Ram 1500 truck with $18,000 off MSRP plus 3.9% financing for 60 months. $18,000 off plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Always remind you every single day about my friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're online at fabrychevrolet.com. Bring you our opening drive every single day. Go by and see them, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. The Fabry family has been at it in this town for 35 years. 35 years. And you don't do that unless you're doing things the right way. And the reason they've been successful and been able to stick around like they have is because they treat their customers wonderfully. If you go by and see them, Highway 61 in St. Francisville, you'll notice the difference. You'll feel that customer service experience. Most folks have had questionable experiences on car lots, right? Feel like the salesperson's being a little bit pushy, feel like maybe you're being taken advantage of, feel like there's just a little bit of pressure being applied. That's just never going to happen at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. So if you want a wonderful buying experience, great service after the sale, By the way, great deals and amazing inventory. Fabry Chevrolet GMC is happy to see you on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Check out the entire inventory online at fabrychevrolet.com. You can see the new vehicles. You can see the pre-owned vehicles. It's truck month there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. So go by and see them. Again, Highway 61 in St. Francisville or online at fabrychevrolet.com. There's a story on The Athletic that I was going through this morning talking about the moves that every Power 4 conference team made in the offseason, and it's going through and singling out the best move every Power 4 team made in the offseason. And as I tell you all the time, when I read those headlines this time of year, I give my answer, and then I go ahead and see what the piece says. And this was a tough one for me to sit at my desk and go, okay, what move are we talking about here? Because LSU in the offseason changed athletic directors, changed head coach, changed general manager, brought in an offensive coordinator, a quarterback. Oh, by the way, more than 40 other transfers that came in. Like, there are significant moves that were made in the LSU football program. There's almost nothing that's the same. Like, Trey Green's still there. Whit Weeks is still there. Braylon Moore's playing center. You got DJ Pickett, PJ Woodland out there. But, like, most everything has changed. So what could you possibly nail down as number one? And I just kind of defaulted. I was trying to be creative, but I just kind of defaulted to, well, I guess it's hiring Lane Kiffin. That's the move, right? That's got to be the move. And that was not the move. It was not Sam Leavitt. It was not Jordan Seaton. The move that the Athletic said was the best that LSU made in the offseason was retaining defensive coordinator Blake Baker. I'll read from the piece. Said the Tigers spent boatloads of money to bring in Lane Kiffin and a colorful cast of assistant coaches, including Ed Ogeron, and then millions more to upgrade their roster via the portal. You can make the case that the best thing Kiffin did was keep the defensive coordinator. Baker turned the LSU defense into a reliable unit after it had lost its way, and maintaining the same system will provide needed continuity. That makes sense. And it got me thinking. And this is something we'll get into in August. And I don't want this to come across as negative at all. I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on it. I'm fully aware of what Blake Baker took over. Watching that 2023 team attempt to play defense was one of the most frustrating things I've ever witnessed as an LSU onlooker. Call it beat writer, call it fan, call it student. Watching LSU play, that defense is among the most frustrating things I've ever seen. And I watched Les Miles' teams try to throw the football. I've watched atrocious basketball teams try to navigate the SEC schedule. I've watched baseball teams slump. I've watched poor defense. I've watched some bad stuff. That defense was abysmal, and I would not argue in any other way. You had one of the best offenses in the history of college football, and you couldn't win games because your defense was that bad. And so Baker took that over, and they got better his first year. He took over just an absolute disaster, and they got better. And last year was year 2, which would be like a progression 10 years ago. But really, it's not, because you overhaul so many positions with the transfer portal that it's not like you're really building a defense. You're installing a culture that oftentimes is in and out the door in 10 months. There are guys that stick around. Devon Keys has stuck around. Whit Weeks has stuck around. PJ Woodland stuck around. Deshaun Spears has stuck around. On last year's team, Jacoby and Guillory had stuck around. There have been some guys that have stuck around, but it's a lot of new guys that have come in, right? So it's not like you're really building. It's just like, what defense do you put out there this year? Okay, what defense you put out there that year? And I looked at the raw numbers. I'll get into what I watched with my eyes, but I'll get into the raw numbers. In the SEC last year, LSU's scoring defense was 5th in the league. That's good. Against the run, they were 7th. Against the pass, they were 6th. That's okay. And in total defense, they were 6th. So you're looking at between 5th and 7th, scoring, total, pass, run. That's balanced. that's fairly effective. I would not go as far as to call it dominant. And Baker oftentimes talks about havoc and creating negative plays. And LSU didn't do a ton of that. LSU was 11th in terms of tackles for loss on the season. If you look at tackles for loss per game, LSU was 13th in a 16-team league in that statistic. And I thought LSU was really going to do a good job of sacking the quarterback last year, and LSU was 12th in that metric. So what Blake Baker has done, statistically speaking, is shore things up. They don't allow as many huge plays. They weren't gashed on the ground. They weren't susceptible through the air. They did a decent job of keeping teams within striking distance and points. There were just a few instances where they didn't really show up. I did not think LSU's defense played well in Oxford. Now, the good news is the two guys that masterminded that offense are on LSU's team this year. But you consider that Ole Miss ran up a gaudy point total on LSU, and you forced a turnover inside the 1 yard line. If you don't remember, Ole Miss threw a pass down inside the 1, and the ball got knocked free for a fumble, and LSU got on it. So, they got no points out of getting down inside the 1 yard line, and you still gave up a lot of points that day. You had no answer whatsoever for Vanderbilt in the second half. None. Just absolute carvature. Whenever Vanderbilt wanted it, whatever they wanted, they got it. Just absolutely carved. And, of course, the A&M game got completely out of hand. Now, aside from those games, I thought LSU was decent. I thought that there were games where they looked better than others. Like Florida's anemic offense came in and you picked off 5 passes in that game. That was great. But that was a bad offense. And you took advantage of that. I thought they were decent against Oklahoma, who was a bad offense. Kept yourself in that game with no offensive help. I thought you were pretty good against Alabama. But it never felt to me, outside of Clemson and Florida, that LSU was dominating on defense. And that's the standard you'd like to get to, right? Like, you were good against South Carolina. They only scored 10. You were okay against Arkansas. They scored 22. But A&M scored 49 with a punt return. And Vanderbilt scored 31. And Ole Miss went up and down the field. It was good. It wasn't dominant. And so my hope is that this group borders on dominant. I like Blake Baker in that job. I like 2 things about him. One, he's improved LSU greatly defensively. No question about that. And 2, and this is something I gather from the player interviews that we do, the players love playing for him. They love him. The linebackers, the safeties, it's the energy that he brings, it permeates through the entire defensive unit. I'm just looking for a little bit more consistent play. That Ole Miss game, that A&M game, that Vanderbilt game, those stick with me. And a lot of that has to do with mobile quarterback. Chambliss can move. Pavia can move. Reed can move. When you had a stationary guy back there like Ty Simpson, you did okay. Stationary-ish guy back there like Mateer was at that point, okay. But I want to see dominance. That's the challenge. He's accomplished mission 1. Mission 1 was go from an embarrassment to rock solid. And I thought LSU was pretty solid. Now, how do you get inside the top 3 in the SEC? How do you get inside the top 10 in the country? That's the next step for Blake Baker. I am comfortable suggesting he's got a real chance to do that. But he hasn't done it quite yet at LSU in 2 seasons. Would have been a tough ask in year 1 after as bad as they were in 23. But that's the next step for Blake Baker to pay off what they're calling at The Athletic the best move that LSU made in the postseason. I was thrilled Blake Baker stayed. Absolutely. Did not want to see him go to Tulane and have to go back into the well and try to hire another defensive coordinator. And I'm thrilled that it sounds like he's going to be here for a few more years unless something goes really, really right in LSU defense and he gets hired by a big boy school. Because that's what he wants to do next. But they're not quite there yet. Maybe this is the year. We'd like that. All right, let's talk to Glenn West about the Tigers when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
GoTro's Outdoor Power. GoTrosOnline.com. GoTrosOnline.com. June is still here, y'all. It is still June, and that means unbelievable savings are still right there at your fingertips if you go by and see them at GoTro's Outdoor Power. You go by and see them this week, you can get $200 off the Raptor series. You can get $500 off the Fast Track series. And those Hustler commercial mowers up to $1,500 off. If you need a new zero-turn mower to manage that property, whether it's your home or something else, you can go get it at GoTro's Outdoor Power. They got the largest Hustler inventory in the state, largest parts inventory in the state. They were the National Hustler Dealer of the Year 2 of the last 3 years. It is family-owned and operated, no question about that. And that's the customer service you're going to get from GoTro's. Not small. One of the bigger ones in the country, in the state. Go by and see them, Airline in Baton Rouge or in Gonzales. It's GoTro's Outdoor Power. They're online at GoTrosOnline.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 2025 Ram 1500 truck with $18,000 off MSRP plus 3.9% financing for 60 months. $18,000 off plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday show is brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Every Tuesday we talk to Glenn West on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. He's senior writer over there at the Bengal Tiger, part of the On3 team. He joins us now. Glenn, how are you?
I'm doing great, Hunt. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. What do you make of Oklahoma winning the national championship? You watched them play in person.
Yeah, I watched them play. I watched Kiffin Evans shut him out for 7 1/3 innings and thought this dude is a bona fide ace and just one of the best pitchers in the country. And I believe LSU took 2 out of 3 from the Sooners in that.
No, they
weekend,
did not.
so.
Oklahoma won the last 2.
Oh, they didn't?
No.
Okay. They just took the first game.
Yep.
Then. All right. But yeah, no. Look, I think Oklahoma certainly it just reinforces the idea that in college baseball anything can happen. Anybody can get hot at the right time, and Oklahoma certainly did that. I think it's a very impressive group and one that I would imagine stays pretty intact next year. I think they have a pretty young roster, and so that's another big time power program that's coming up the pike here. And so the SEC is not getting any easier, which is why I think you've seen LSU go out and aggressively attack the portal over the last several weeks, and hopefully rebuild this team in a way that can positively affect this program going forward in 2027.
It's been a quiet week or so for LSU in the transfer portal. Do you expect that there are some announcements coming? Do you think that LSU's in a waiting game? How do you feel about where they stand now?
Yeah, I think maybe there's another announcement coming on the pitching side. Maybe they'll add another player or two there. But they did a good job last week. They got I think Diego Velasquez last week. That was another pitching addition for them. And so I think they're winding down their portal process. To be honest with you, I think they've done really good work in there. Adding 4 or 5 really interesting starters. On the certainly on the position player side, but also potentially on the mound with a guy like Landon Hood. Who's going to come in and compete for major playing time. So I think that they've done really good work there in the portal, and I think just a lot of the focus now is going to be just what they can get through this high school draft class, because I do think whether it's the outfield, the pitching staff, there's a lot of really talented players in this class that LSU, I think, feels like they have a shot at getting through the draft. So I know the coaching staff has been on the road meeting with a lot of those players really for the last several weeks and months, and so that'll be very interesting though to watch kind of what how these next couple weeks play out in that respect. And I think the MLB Combine is going on right now too, so that could give us some more clarity here on some of those guys that are maybe participating in that and kind of where their draft stock is right now.
Yeah, a lot of guys in the signing class are out in Arizona right now participating in the Combine, and a couple of them have been showstoppers thus far, which is not great news for the folks here in Baton Rouge. But we'll see how that all shakes out next month. I'm also curious, just big picture, your thoughts on Will Wade's basketball roster. I dove into that earlier this week, and I've got 11 names that I kind of feel okay about. That's a little bit short of a full roster. Do you sense that they're kind of done adding and just now waiting to get guys eligible? Or where do you think they are in that process? Will Wade said August, and it's still June, so it's not like I'm sounding any alarms here, but I'm looking from the outside going, well, they're not quite there.
Yeah, no, they're not quite there yet. I think they've announced 4 of their guys officially. I think they've added a freshman within the last week too. That name is escaping me at the moment, but that's another, I think, kind of end of the bench guy that you bring in to develop and see what he can become over time. But I think in terms of new additions to the program, you're looking at probably end of bench guys at this point. I think really a lot of the main focus is going to be on just getting these guys eligible and over to Baton Rouge from overseas. And so I think that's where a lot of the focus is right now. And, it's going to be interesting too here. The NCAA, I think just about 20 minutes ago, announced they're, putting this 5 for 5 eligibility ruling in place here for this upcoming academic year. And so I will be curious to see kind of maybe how that affects, not even just basketball, but certainly football and baseball with their thinking in terms of how they bring in players and how they get guys eligible and things of that nature.
Let's talk a little football. Glenn West is our guest, senior writer over there with the Bengal Tiger, part of the team on 3 with Shay Dixon and the crew. Do an awesome job for your football recruiting and your team coverage as well, which Glenn is all over there for them. You started some series looking at LSU's football roster over there, looking at some guys potentially under the radar, some multi-year players that you like. Kind of where's your mind wandering as we get towards the end of June here?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just kind of looking at this roster now and kind of taking a look ahead to 2026. And the football season is going to be right around the corner here. So I've just kind of been doing my breakdowns of positions and just interesting names, guys that maybe we, I don't want to say have overlooked, but maybe just not have gotten the big shine that some of the big other additions have been getting here this off season. So there were 2 that I kind of highlighted this morning. One was Alu Ba, the offensive lineman that they're getting from Maryland, who's a multi-year starter in the Big Ten. somebody that I think, has pretty much been the plug-and-play right guard for LSU going back to the spring. And so, how he develops and certainly, especially in the run game, I think is going to be very interesting for him in terms of maintaining his spot there. And then the other one is T.J. Daugherty, the linebacker they got from Ole Miss, a 2-year starter in the SEC. You need some of these guys in here that have multiple years of experience and who have also gone through the process of transferring to a school and immediately fitting into that next place. Like Daugherty transferred in, I believe, from Georgia to Ole Miss and was an immediate 2-year starter. And then Ba also transferred from Georgia to Maryland and was an immediate 2-year starter there as well. So, these guys have been well-traveled already in their careers and have been able to fit into their new systems pretty quickly. So those are kind of just two of the guys that I think are going to be big pieces to this roster in 2026 and guys that they're going to lean into on both sides of the ball.
What are your thoughts on Blake Baker's grade for last year? I talked about it in my second segment today because it was something The Athletic pointed out as one of the biggest moves that LSU made in the offseason was keeping him around. How do you feel about the work that he did last year in his second year back with the program?
Yeah, I think it was another step of growth for him, and I think they made it to a place where they were a top 25 group in terms of yards allowed. They were, I think, top 20 or top 15 in scoring. From a defensive perspective as well. That Florida game really kind of sticks out in my mind. They had a pretty good game plan in year 2 against Lenore Sellers in South Carolina. Did a good job against those guys. So I think that there were some signs of growth, but you could also tell that maybe there were some areas that they could continue to improve defensively. And so going out and getting, Principal Uman Neoen, for example, I don't think they've had a pass rusher quite like him under Blake Baker's tenure yet. And so what he's going to be able to do to maybe open up some things for this defense is going to be really interesting to watch. And then obviously Ty Benefield's a really good player. Obviously getting Weeks back and healthy is going to be major for this defense as well. And I'm really interested with this freshman group. This defensive linemen in particular. Whether it's Lamar Brown, Richard Anderson, Deuce Gerald, all these guys I think have an opportunity or will get an opportunity to play some really meaningful football this year. So. I think that development process and just how they fit into Blake Baker's scheme is going to be very important too. So I'm very excited, very bullish on Blake Baker. Getting him back for year 3, I think, was a big deal, and I think they're going to really hit the ground running defensively and try to take another step forward this year.
Glenn, we appreciate the time.
All right, thanks, Hunt.
Glenn West over there at the Bengal Tiger, part of the On3 team, with us on Tuesdays. I want to remind you about Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. It is storm season. If you want to get that Generac home standby generator installed before the storm rolls through, make that phone call to my friends at Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Neil and Melissa have been running the show there for 40 years. 40 years. Give them a call at 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562. Or in the Gonzales location, you're talking about 225-300-9389. A local team that will install that generator, a local team that will monitor that generator, and a local team that will come out and do the maintenance work on that generator to make sure when your power goes out, your generator springs to life. That's the promise they make you at Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Check them out online at boudreauxelectrical.com. That's boudreauxelectrical.com. I mentioned the MLB Draft Combine that's going on over in Phoenix this week. And there's one name that is putting on a show, and that's Lawrence Naraki. We have not gotten into LSU's baseball signing class at this point. I'm not going to do it today either. That's a July conversation right before the draft. But Naraki is one of the better left-handed pitching prospects in the country. Joe Doyle, who is there at the Combine, thinks he's a potential $2 million left-handed arm, which is a high draft pick, is in the top 3 rounds. But he also hit today at the Combine. He hit like 3 balls, 109 miles an hour, was launching balls with a wooden bat way out of the ballpark at what used to be Bank One Ballpark. I have no idea what the ballpark is called now. Maybe Chase Field. Either way, doesn't matter. It's a big yard, and he's bashing balls out of it, and he throws really hard left-handed. I don't think, as I tweeted out earlier today, that Lucas Naraki is going to be taking a lot of classes in Lockett Hall. I don't think he's going to be spending a lot of time in the Cox Center. I don't think he's going to be spending a lot of time at Alec Box Stadium. That's one of the guys that I do not think LSU is going to be able to keep away from the MLB money, but he is putting on a show. And if you go check my Twitter out, my last tweet is about him, and you can see the video of him from the left side just absolutely nuking balls at the ballpark in Phoenix. that's a guy who's going to sign for a lot of cash here pretty quickly. So just a thought on the MLB draft. When we come back, not a local story. There is a college baseball line to it. But Rafael Devers did something last night that I just can't believe. And I'll tell you what that is to close out hour one next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, online at highlandig.com. Highlandig.com is that website. Jonathan Carver and his team are just great to work with, and they know that benefits are tough right now. If you're a business owner, you're a CFO, you're in charge of your organization's healthcare plan, it's intimidating because the rates continue to go up, and just feels like it's detrimental to your bottom line. I'm not promising you that the Highland Insurance Group is a silver bullet for you, but what I can promise you is that they'd love to work with you and love to give you a second option to see if they can help you with your healthcare, with your dental, with your vision, with the benefits that help you attract talent and help you keep talent within your organization. So if you've had a couple of bad renewals or you've got one coming up that you're dreading or you just haven't heard from your rep on that side of things and want a second opinion, the Howard Insurance Group, they obviously do property and casualty. I tell you about that all the time, but they do benefits as well. So if you want a second opinion, contact the Howard Insurance Group. They're based here in Baton Rouge. They can help you out statewide. They're online at highlandig.com. It's the Howard Insurance Group, highlandig.com.
Box combo for George. I see you, Luis. Food's on the way.
Please don't. Hey, you know you can use your hands, right?
Got those box combos for you. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Bayou Ford is taking $12,000 off MSRP on the new 2026 Ford F-150 trucks, plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Lockmere to Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lockmere to Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Our Tuesday show is always brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Cybersecurity is a scary deal because so few of us know a lot about it, but the risks are significant. If you've got employees that could be clicking on the wrong email here or there, or you've got a point of sale system that doesn't have the proper insurance or monitoring, and you may have a significant IT risk that you're not even aware of. There could be an issue that you're not even aware of, and those can get really, really expensive really, really quickly if something were to go wrong. That's where Immense comes in. If you work with Immense, you understand that they're going to be monitoring your systems 24/7. They're going to be proactively protecting you from these types of things, and then able to detect things that you may not be able to as you're just conducting your business. So if you want someone from an IT perspective to protect your business, let Immense come in and do it for you. Immense is so confident in their abilities, confident in their relationships with their clients, that they don't put you under contract for 2 years or 1 year. They're month to month. If you feel like your IT department is overworked, or you feel like there may be risks that you're unaware of, sit down and talk to Immense. They're online at immense.net, that's immense.net. All right, I have 2 baseball stories that I'm struggling with today, to be quite honest. One is not that big a deal. We'll talk about that, and then we'll get to Rafael Devers, which I think is ridiculous. Jazz Chisholm was playing second base last night with a sucker in his mouth. Like, the full deal. Stick coming out, the whole thing. Just playing second base like my kid when he leaves the doctor's office with a sucker in his mouth.
Is that the first time you ever seen something like that?
I mean, maybe at a T-ball game.
Okay.
Maybe the Bombers over at Traction this year.
I've never heard that or seen that before. Like that type of
I mean, they got gum. They got sunflower seeds. You see a sucker with the stick in a big league game?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
but
crazy.
I mean, whatever. Just throw that out. This is way worse. Rafael Devers did something last night that, to me, might drive Tony Vitello back to college baseball, if we're being honest.
Oh, really?
Devers is the third baseman for the Giants. Now, why is he the third baseman for the Giants? Well, because he played third base for the Red Sox, who signed Alex Bregman and told him to either be a DH or go play second base, and he got pouty and wouldn't participate with the team and forced them to trade him because he wanted to play third base or he wasn't going to play at all. Ridiculous move in Boston, but they shipped him out of town.
Bad locker room guy.
Well, how about last night? Did you see this?
No.
The Giants are trailing in the 9th inning, 2-1.
Okay.
Devers walks.
Okay.
Tony Vitello yells down the dugout, "Hey, Hall, go run for him." So he pops out of the dugout, and Devers is wagging his finger, no, from first base. Well, this pitch runner runs out like 15 feet from the dugout, then kind of looks back at the dugout while Devers is saying no, and then he gets even closer, and Devers won't leave the bag. He's like, "No, I'm not. You're not running for me." And now the pinch runner is like, "Well, what the hell do you want me to do? I'm the pinch running bench guy. This guy's been on all-star teams before, and he's telling me to go back to the dugout. What am I supposed to do?" And finally, Devers walked off the base, pouted in the dugout, threw his helmet down, and bitched about it in a one-run game. You know how many stolen bases Rafael Devers has for the San Francisco Giants? He's now played 167 games with them. None. He's never attempted one. He's 6 feet tall, 235 pounds. He doesn't run very well. They're trailing by 1 run. They're trying to put some speed on the bases. This has been happening in baseball for 120 years, and he's too good for that. I understand when players hurt the team for finances. If you hold out or you're in a negotiation, you're trying to deal with your money. When you start getting in the way of actually winning because your ego will not allow you to be pinch runs for, then get off my team.
Yeah.
Get off the team.
100%.
This blows my mind that he's not interested in winning. He's interested in Rafael Devers playing in this spot. You're slow. You don't steal bases. We got to score a run. If you haven't noticed, our offense kind of sucks. We might need to steal a bag here and get lucky on a blooper and get a guy home, and you might not score. I'm trying to win. We're in last. I would be so upset if I was Tony Vitello.
As he should. And I heard Devers not even hitting that well this year either.
Let's look at the numbers. He leads the NL in doubles with 23.
Okay.
He's hitting .238 with a .302 on base, which is not very good. His OPS is .735. It's not a great year. He's got 11 homers. He's been fine. He's a half a win player right now through half a season. He's looking at a 1 WAR season, which is barely over league average.
That's not what you traded for.
No, his OPS plus is 108, league average is 100. So
that's not what you traded for.
He's a fine player, but he's slow. And we're trying to pinch run. We're trying to win the game. I understand pitchers that don't want the ball taken from them. I get it. This is running, and you're not good at it. So this is not competitive. This is showing up. Your teammate is trying to pinch run. Your manager, who's in his first year trying to run the team, and your team is awful, and you're not helping by just being a complete crybaby on I have no time and no patience for that whatsoever. That is utterly ridiculous for a professional athlete to act like that. And if it was just a one-time thing, okay, fine. This is now just a pattern that he's just a jerk. And I wouldn't have him on my team under any circumstance.
Nah.
Period.
He just seems like a bad locker room guy at this point. Like, that's nasty.
We're pinch running. Get off the field. That's how that ought to go. So that's it for hour number 1 here in this Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. I want to remind y'all, we will be at Sports Trivia tonight at Court at the Table. It's always a fun time. We've got a great crowd that's been coming out. It's been competitive. Great food there. Great drinks there. You can win gift cards. Got the World Cup on TV. NBA Draft will be on TV tonight, so it'll be a great environment. Come on out. Bring a team or come by yourself. It's right there on Burbank. We started about 8 o'clock. About 5 minutes after 8. It's probably a safer bet. And then I'll have you out of there by 9:20 every single Tuesday, so not an all-night deal. Hope to see y'all out tonight at Court to Table on Burbank. We'll pause for national headlines and Sports Center. We'll talk some Alabama Crimson Tide next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
But first, let's tell you about Ochsner. They've been reminding you all month long, about the incredible things they've got going on over at Ochsner. If you are an athlete or you're just trying to stay active, Ochsner Rangers Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute can help keep you moving. They can get you moving as well. You've got access to the highest levels of specialized care. You've got nationally renowned expertise, the latest equipment, and you've got modern facilities, and that includes the convenient walk-in orthopedic clinic at Elite Training Complex, the Burbank location, when you need care fast. So if you've got a sprain, if you've got a strain, if you've got a minor dislocation, maybe even an ACL tear, sudden ongoing non-spine-related musculoskeletal pain, any of that, you can walk into Elite Training Complex on Burbank without an appointment. They are happy to see you. They've got on-site x-rays, and they can treat those minor injuries for you. So you'll drive by, you'll see Elite. They got the big football field with the goalposts out there. You can't miss it, and you can walk in. It's Ochsner, online at ochsner.org/brortho.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, the NFL has decided not to hold a supplemental draft, meaning former Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby, who admitted to placing thousands of bets on college and pro sports, won't play in the league in 2026. NFL said it felt he'd be a distraction for teams going into training camp in a letter sent to Sorsby. Explains ESPN's Pete Thamel.
It said your petition filed 3 business days before the deadline without any supporting information or documentation, and only after abandoning college sports, your recent litigation efforts to avoid NCAA sanctions. It does not provide a basis for the league to alter its plans to not hold a supplemental draft.
This isn't over, though, as Sorsby will bring the matter to the NFLPA, according to his attorney. Cristiano Ronaldo became the first person to score in 6 different World Cup tournaments. He scored twice against Uzbekistan in the first half today. Portugal's up 5-0, 93rd minute. The Wizards on the clock with the number 1 overall pick in tonight's NBA draft. 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern, ABC and ESPN. AJ DeBonsa, Darren Peterson among the options for that top pick.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Wednesday, we'll react to the first round of the NBA draft and break down how the Giannis trade to Miami impacted the draft. It's on Sportsville, like 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. We got a lot to get to over the next hour. Sharif Ishak coming up in 30 minutes. Pelicans maybe drafting in the second round tonight, maybe drafting in the first round tonight. We'll see. We'll talk to Sharif about it coming up in 30 minutes. No pressing trades as of yet from Joe Dumars and company down there in New Orleans, but the day is young, so we'll see how it all shakes out over the course of the next probably 8-9 hours or so. I want to start the hour, continue our series about LSU's opponents coming up this fall, and we have gotten beyond the bye week now to the Alabama Crimson Tide. And I think this is a very fascinating season for Kalen DeBoer in Alabama. It's not a season that he has to prove himself. It's not a season in which he's on the hot seat. They just signed him to a contract extension, y'all. They just did that. So things would have to really go poorly for that circumstance to change in Tuscaloosa. It's a weird thing because you could frame Kalen DeBoer's 2 years in Tuscaloosa any way you want. If you want to say that Alabama has beaten Georgia in both regular season matchups, that Alabama has beaten Auburn in both Iron Bowls, that Alabama has qualified for the SC championship game, that has made the college football playoff, that won a road college football playoff game, you can say all that. That's all true. That's all really good. If you want to say they've lost 8 football games, if you want to say that they lost to Vanderbilt 2 years ago, you want to say they got punked by a 5-7 Florida State team, you want to say that Indiana didn't even have to break a sweat to cold cock them in the playoffs, all that's true too. The truth's probably somewhere in the middle if we're being reasonable about the state of Alabama's football program. It is not the 900-pound death machine that it was under Nick Saban for more than a decade. It is not a disaster. They're just pretty good. Pretty good team. Team that can go to Athens and win a game. Team that can make the college football playoff. Pretty good. Have they sniffed the national championship? No. They have not even remotely sniffed the national championship. And if that's the standard you want to live by, then they're not there. So they got to make some changes this year. And the first one has got to be becoming a more physical football team. And this goes for LSU and Alabama here, by the way. Now, LSU's got a new coach in place. Alabama's going to have to change the way they do things. But what if I would have told you back in 2010, 11, 12, back in 2015, when Leonard Fournette and Derrick Henry were running the football, What if I would have told you that in the not-so-distant future, that LSU and Alabama will be 15th and 16th in the SEC in rushing attempts per game and rushing yards per game? Because that's what we saw last year. LSU was dead last in rushing attempts and dead last in rushing yards per game in the SEC. Alabama was 15th in both stats. They were a finesse, soft football team. And when they got cooking and Ty Simpson got going, they could score points on Georgia. When they got punched in the mouth, they didn't have an answer. They didn't have an answer in Atlanta in the SEC championship game, and they certainly had no answer in Pasadena against Indiana. Listen to this stat. Alabama lost 4 football games last year. In those 4 losses, they averaged 46.7 yards per game rushing. Under 50 yards per game running the football in their 4 losses. In those 4 games, they ran for a total of 2 touchdowns. Like, you cannot win a national championship like that. You can't be a factor nationally if you cannot run the ball. And LSU could not run the ball, and Bama could not run the ball. So this team is going to have to do that. They're also going to need what is now Ryan Coleman Williams to be the freshman version of himself and not the sophomore version of himself. If you didn't know he changed his name, I didn't either. Was Ryan Williams, 17-year-old phenom, great play against Georgia 2 years ago, unbelievable wide receiver, former 5-star, whole deal. He's now Ryan Coleman Williams. He put Coleman on his last name to honor his mom's family. And he's got to be a stud because you see the athleticism. But he was dropping everything in sight last year, right in his hands, dropping everything. That's got to get better. Got to get better. And we will know what this Alabama team is based on 1 5-week stretch. It's 4 games. It's 5 weeks. And it's Alabama season in a nutshell, because I don't believe they're going to lose to South Carolina. I don't believe they're going to lose to Kentucky. I don't think they're losing to Vanderbilt. I don't think Florida State's going to Tuscaloosa and beating them. Like, it could happen, sure. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think this Alabama season comes down to 4 games in 5 weeks. And they're in a row with the bye week in front of LSU, but this is what it is for Alabama. Home Georgia, at Tennessee, home A&M, at LSU. That's it. If they're 3-1 in those 4 games, home Georgia, at Tennessee, home A&M, at LSU. If they're 3-1, playoff team. If they're 2-2, okay, they're heads above water. Got to win the rest of them. If you're 1-3 or 0-4, it's a mutiny in Tuscaloosa. Because Kalen DeBoer, internally in that fan base, not nationally, not in the athletic director's office, internally in that fan base, does not have high approval ratings. Because that fan base believes that the man above blessed Saturdays for Alabama to win football games. And that there are 132 teams and then there's Alabama. That's what they think in their head. And so they, for the most part, skew towards these lost 8 games in 2 years. Not that, well, one was the SC championship game, which didn't really mean anything, and one was to the eventual national champ, and the rules have changed, and Bama's not quite the NIL force that some of the other teams around the country are, and it's a little bit tougher job. None of that rationale is going to matter to Alabama fans. We're Alabama. We win championships. Go do it now. That's how they think. That's how they're wired. And you can't go 1-3 in that stretch. And, it's not that hard to get to 1-3. Lose to Georgia, which is possible. Now, Alabama's the boogeyman for Kirby. You lose to Georgia at home, okay. Go to Knoxville and lose, that can happen for sure. They've lost there twice recently. A&M should be tough this year. And then you got to go to Tiger Stadium. Those are all 4 toss-up games that probably will feature point spreads inside of 4 points. That's what this season's going to boil down to for Kalen DeBoer. And he's not on the hot seat. He's not about to get fired. They just restructured his contract. But losing the fan base would be a big deal. Losing booster confidence is a big deal because they've got to pay the players. And they're not going to be super rational about it. And it was always going to be the case for the guy who replaced the guy, and that's replacing Nick Saban. Now, I was premature in my tweet when Oklahoma went up on Alabama in that playoff game last year. I was like, well, yeah, this is the exit that it was always going to look like. He'll go take the Michigan job or whatever. Then they came back and won the game, to their credit, but then they got hammered in the next one. So Alabama's an interesting case study. I'm very fascinated when we get to Tampa next month to hear what people have to say about Alabama. Because we'll see if Kalen Russell, the former 5-star, is the quarterback. We'll see if they go with Austin Mack, who committed to Kalen DeBoer at Washington and then came to Tuscaloosa. They got to figure out who the quarterback is, and I candidly don't really know where that stands. I don't pay attention to Alabama spring football. I'll get that in July when we go to Tampa and people are talking about them then. But I know those are the two guys. I know who Ryan Coleman-Williams is, and I know that they got to run the football better. Defense has been okay. Kane Womack's been okay. They're not the most dominant group. It's not the Saban 11 defense. But they've been okay on defense. They've struggled at times offensively. They got to get better from that perspective. But it's an interesting state of that program based on what the fan base thinks, what Kalen DeBoer's delivered, how you read all that, and what they become this year. And I think that 4-game stretch over 5 weeks in the middle of October and early November is going to be what defines this team's season. And it's going to be fascinating to see. So that's a look at Alabama. If you want to read all my stories on LSU's opponents, we've now gone through, I guess that's 8 of them, maybe 9 of them to this point. We got a few more this week, and then we'll get into our in-depth chart series over at LouisianaSports.net. You can go check that out. I wrote about Alabama earlier this morning. Wrote a column on the College World Series that's up on the homepage right now. All right, let's take a time out. We'll come back with more. It's a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC online at FabryChevrolet.com. That is FabryChevrolet.com. Awesome deals on trucks right now until the end of the month. If you're looking for Chevy Silverado at 0% APR financing for 36 months, go between now and the end of June. Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You want a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 at 2.9% for 72 months? Now until the end of the month, get on by and see them. Awesome deals on trucks. It's Trucks Month at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Make that short drive up Highway 61 in St. Francisville. If you're looking for a Chevy Trailblazer, Chevy Trax, as low as $30,000. Go to the website. The entire inventory is right there at FabryChevrolet.com. You can search it there. Sort by mileage, sort by price, sort by make and model. Whatever you're looking for, they've got it at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. It's online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Bayou Ford is taking $12,000 off MSRP on the new 2026 Ford F-150 trucks, plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
I've been in banking for over 35 years. I usually start about 7:30 in the morning, and I usually leave somewhere around 5, or if customers need me to meet them at their house or their business places, I don't mind going after hours. I have done churches, subdivisions, retail centers, hospitals, and nursing.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Minute here to tell you about Lifetime Roofing. They're online at lifetimeroofingla.com. That's lifetimeroofingla.com. Baton Rouge-based roofing company. They service the entire state of Louisiana, plus Houston as well. Their core values are customer service, quality, and integrity, and they take all of them very, very, very seriously. They understand that their customer base is right here in South Louisiana. That's where they're from. That's where they're born and raised. They understand that quality is so important down in South Louisiana because we have rough weather. We've got, obviously, hurricanes that roll through this time of year. We've got hailstorms as well. Get a lot of rain in the summer months. And if you're noticing an issue, you may need someone to come up, do a repair, do a new roof. And they take their quality very, very seriously. And integrity is very important when it comes to roofing because you understand that not everybody, not every homeowner has a feel for what a roof should or should not look like. And so when the roofer goes up there, it's easy for someone to just charge for the most expensive thing, which is a new roof. At Lifetime Roofing, you can trust them to go up there and properly assess your situation. If they just need to repair something, they'll repair it. If you just need a tune-up to fortify that roof, they'll do it. And if you need a new roof, they'll help you with that as well. And if you need help financing it, they can do that 0% for 18 months. And Lifetime Roofing is so proud to offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. Started that in January of this year, 6 months in. They are so proud of the work that they have done. That warranty backs the craftsmanship as well as the materials that are used. So if you're looking for a new roof or want a roof inspection to make sure your roof is in proper shape for this storm season, check them out online at lifetimeroofingla.com. All right. So this is one of those segments where I pass some news along, and admittedly, because it's happened while I'm on the air, I'm not as well read on it as I'd like to be, and I can't answer every question or present every hypothetical or how it impacts LSU directly today. I'll have to do more digging on that when I'm not doing the 2-hour radio show. But I can tell you that the NCAA Division I cabinet has unanimously voted to approve the age-based eligibility model. It's a big moment for the NCAA here. It means that you're going to have the 5-for-5 implemented. You've got 5 years from either the end of your high school career or your 19th birthday to complete your eligibility. We're not doing big red shirt rules, and we're not doing court cases over that. We're not doing medicals or gray shirts or any of that kind of stuff that we once knew in the world of eligibility. Your 19th birthday comes and goes, you got 5 years. You finish your high school education, you got 5 years. That's it. So there are some pieces to this that would theoretically directly impact LSU, assuming this goes into effect for this coming year. The European basketball players that LSU has brought in could be affected here. Jan Madar is nowhere near 5 years from high school. Nowhere near. He's nowhere near 5 years from his 19th birthday. Now, you want to get into military service, that kind of stuff, who knows? In Pete Nakos' article for On3, he writes that any waiver that you are applying for this coming year has to be turned in by the schools and the conferences by July, the end of July. I think that's right. Let me make sure I read that correctly. Has to be filed by July 31st. So you've got a month. So I guess that probably, and again, I'm telling you what I think. I don't know. This just happened, so I'm reacting on the fly with you. I think that would suggest that LSU is going to have to file some paperwork for its basketball players by July 31st. And I think that would suggest that once that filing is done, you would hope to find a reasonably quick resolution. The good news for basketball is that it's not starting as quickly as football. If you file it by July 31st, you do have August and September and October, 3 months before you ever play a real basketball game to get a decision made. And I would imagine they could get that done in 3 months. You would prioritize the football, volleyball, soccer first, and then you would get to men's and women's basketball pretty quickly after that. 3 months feels like enough time. Now, I understand that might sound ridiculous because the NCAA never does anything rapidly, never does anything on the up and up, but this should clear up a lot of issues. I don't know if LSU can win those cases or not. I got a text message from a buddy just now that asked about baseball draft and leverage. And I'll give you my just knee-jerk thought on that, because the name that's going to come up a lot here is Curiel and Brown, right? Those are the guys you want back that would be draft eligible this year. Well, now they've got more leverage and all that kind of stuff. Technically, yeah. It would offer you another year of leverage against the draft. I will tell you this in speaking with people at LSU who are fighting the battle against MLB, trying to get high school kids to LSU, trying to get LSU kids back on campus once they get here and they're draft eligible. The agents and the big league teams really, really, really emphasize age to these young people. I mean, you're going to be 22 years old by the time you get drafted. That's so old. You've got 22-year-olds making MLB All-Star teams. Teams aren't going to want to draft you if you're 22 years old. If you're 23 years old, they don't want a 23-year-old. 23-year-olds that they pay, they want on their big league roster, not in high A ball. And that's the battle you have to fight, right? Now, you're talking dollars and cents, and the days of when I started covering the draft in earnest, like 2011, 2012, 2013, it was very common for 7th and 8th round picks who were seniors, who were out of eligibility, who did not have their leverage. It was very common for them to sign for like $11,000. That doesn't really happen anymore. You do compromise 6 figures off your slot. If you're a senior, you've lost your leverage and you get drafted in a spot that pays $720,000. Now you're usually getting like $450,000, $500,000. It's not every case, but I went back and looked through all the draft picks from last year, and that's the overwhelming majority of 4-year college seniors, meaning they go to a 4-year institution like a D1 school, and you're a senior. A lot of those guys just knock off 6 figures. They knock off $150K, they knock off $185K, and then put that back in their pool. They're not signing guys for $10,000 anymore. At least not very often. So there are a lot of different factors. The draft has changed. You do have NIL opportunities. You do now have an extra year that could offer leverage, but also you're getting a year older, so that may hurt you from the draft. Like, there's just a lot of different moving parts. And the best thing I can tell you, which is not a great, it's not a great answer to give you a hard and fast conclusion, is every case is different. Every player has a different draft grade. Every player has a different financial situation at home. Every player has a different feeling about college baseball. Every player has a different feeling about LSU. Like, there's just a lot of variables. Like, based on what I've heard about Stephen Milam's situation, he loves it at LSU. He's going to get paid close to or more than what his projected signing bonus would be. And he's fine being a year older and losing a little bit of money in next year's draft. As far as I have heard with Jake Brown, like, he loves playing for LSU. The fact of the matter is he's probably a top 60 pick. That comes with a healthy price tag. I don't know. I'm willing to leave the door open. I'm just not betting on it. Curiel is going to get north of $5 million. No 5-for-5 situation is going to change that. There are people mocking him in the top 10 now. I've seen him as high as 8. That's real cash. And as Jay Johnson has said in public, in these press conferences, like, if a guy's going to go in the top 20 picks, like, I'm going to tell him to go. It's $6 million, $5 million, $4 million. Like, it's just, you're not getting that at LSU to play in the NIL era. You're just not. You're not getting $4 million. Sam Levitt is. The shortstop's not. So, again, I got to unpack this. I gotta look at some more things. I got to make some phone calls and kind of see what I hear on things. But to me, this is going to be a good thing for the Cade Belosos and Gavin Dugas of the world, the Rafe Rhymes, Mason Katz of the world, the guys who, Will Helmers, that just are Louisiana guys, don't really have pro aspirations, just want to play. Like, they can play. They can play an extra year. Is this going to be a huge impact? Are you going to see let me think of Anthony Ianson. Not a top 20 pick, but a very draftable prospect, 3 years in. Is this going to mean Anthony Ianson, after his third year of college, because he still has the leverage after a fourth year of college, is going to come back and play baseball at LSU? I do not think so. I think once you become draft eligible and you're that level of prospect, you're going to want to start your professional career. Now, some cases they don't. Stephen Milam didn't. It's not a uniform thing, but I don't think this is going to be massively impactful. You're going to see punters stick around for a fifth year if they want to play. You're not going to see edge rushers and five-star wide receivers stick around for another year for NIL money. I don't think. They could if they're potential fifth-round picks, but we're talking about first and second-round picks, right? We're talking about guys who want to get to that second NFL contract. Every situation is different, but it's a big day. And I think that if you're asking me what the most immediate impact on LSU is, it is absolutely Will Wade's first basketball team. Because Yam Madar is beyond this. And, RJ Lewis is not beyond this. He played 3 years. He's been out for 1.5. So, technically, could come back and play in that fifth year. 5 to play 5. But I just don't know without doing some more research, and this broke while I was on the air. So I'll have more thoughts on it probably tomorrow. I'll do some digging on it. I'll probably write about it at LouisianaSports.net and just kind of see what I learn. But it's just one of those deals where sometimes when you're doing a live radio show and live news happens, I don't have enough time to research this. This has just been spitballing for me off the top of my head. And that's best I can do for you when news breaks while I'm on the air. So I'll give thoughts to it as we move into tomorrow's show, and I'll probably write about it over at LouisianaSports.net. Tuesday show is brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. What are the Pels going to do? Trade Trey Murphy? We'll talk to Sharif Ashak about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Shout out Marucci. Go take a tour at Marucci. Learn the story. Learn a great story. Baton Rouge story about a couple of former big leaguers and their athletic trainer who started making bats in the backyard. And they liked him, so they started showing them off, and people liked those. And then they all of a sudden exploded into the official bat of Major League Baseball. And you can learn how that happened. Plus, see where they make 1,200 of them a day to send to the best players in the world. You can see where they're cut, where they're stained, where they're shipped off. It's such a cool thing for us to have here in Baton Rouge, the official bat of Major League Baseball. And you can learn that story and watch how it's done at Marucci. You can also become a member. With that membership comes a key card into the hitter's house, 24/7 access to the cages, to the practice facilities over at Marucci. Got a youth baseball player, youth softball player under your roof that wants to get some work in this summer? Become a member at Marucci. They're online at MarucciSports.com. That's MarucciSports.com.
Box combo for George. I see you, Luis. Food's on the way.
Please don't. Hey, you know you can use your hands, right?
Got those box combos for you. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
My name is Mike Krumholt, and I've been with First American Bank for 4 years. What makes First American Bank special is we're able to offer all the products and services that any other big bank can offer. What sets us apart is being able to give that small town feel that someone can pick up the phone and they can.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management, immense.net, immense.net, where you can find them. We can find Sharif Ishak down in New Orleans, where the Pelicans may or may not make some news today. We'll talk about it with Sharif Ishak, WDSU. Now he joins us on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Sharif, how are you?
Good. Interested day. I'm just trying to figure out what in the, what is about to happen.
What do you think the Pelicans' thought on their organization is currently? I'm not talking about specific players. I'm talking about how close they are to winning, how many of these guys need to be part of the core if they are. Like, what is the overall outlook on the Pelicans organization today, right now?
They're not close to winning, Hunt.
Yep.
I mean, they're far off from after, 21, 25 win seasons. They're not close. This team needs to be shredded apart, and it has to be somewhat of a rebuild. Not a complete rebuild, but it has to be somewhat of a rebuild because you can't keep saying, well, we're just going to run it back with a new coach. And then, boom, you win them 30 games, and you're like, well, I guess it's not the coach, it's the players. So I think they're far off. They're so far off, they're not even close. They're not even on the same planet. They're like somewhere in Mars right now.
Who are the 2 most important players on this team for the franchise moving forward?
It has to be Fears and Queen. Okay. Anybody else should be on the trading block, and it's no questions.
What can they get for Trey Murphy?
Realistically, I think that you can get 2 pieces and 2 first-round picks. There's going to be a desperate team out there that's going to offer you a lot. You just got to make sure you get the right young pieces that fit what Jamal Mosley wants. I know he's a defensive coach, but he just has to remind himself that he cannot go without a 3-point shooter or wing guy, a consistent 3-point shooter wing guy like he was in Orlando, where he struggled to have, the 3 ball from anyone other than Desmond Bane. But if you can get me 2 players and 2 firsts, or 1 really good player and a couple firsts. He's their best piece, and then it's Herb Jones as their second best piece. I would do my due diligence and do my best to, trying to get the best offer from multiple teams for each player. It's time to move on to your best young assets. I know 28 isn't really young, but Trey's 25, and they still can both play at a high level. And you know how it works, son. They're going to leave the Pelicans and become way better players somewhere else. That's just how it is. This is the farm system for the NBA. The people have been joking about it, but it's not a joke. It's real. So if those 2 guys can net you a couple first-round picks, 2 first-round picks, and some players, 2-3 players, I think that's a plus for them in this NBA draft and moving forward.
The discussion around Zion's at least a little bit different because he played this year. I wouldn't suggest he was dominant, but he did play. He didn't get hurt. So is there a market for him at all? It's a large contract, obviously.
Nope, no market. He's part of this franchise. I should have thrown him in there. Joe Dumars does not want to get rid of him, and he's going to be part of this franchise. It'd been nice. It'd be nice if you can get like a legit big for him and put him next to Derek Queen, a rim protector, but they don't want to trade him. That ship feels like it has sailed a long time ago, and they want to keep him on the team. Trey and Herb are the only 2 names that are really circulating. It's because they can get you the most bang for your buck. Their contracts aren't bad. They are young. They're still they still really haven't hit their peaks, and they can get you a lot. Whereas Zion, $40-something million contract, doesn't play defense. You don't know how many games he's going to play. You don't know if he's going to get injured. His offensive game has improved, but there's really no jumper there. He can attack the rim, such things that other people can't do, but he's too far removed now. So now he's pretty much on this team moving forward.
Do you think they're trying to get into this draft?
Yes, 100% trying to get into this draft. Absolutely. They want a top 10 pick, top 12 pick. They want to get in this draft. They'd love to have 2 picks in this draft to rebuild and restock. They're going to try their best, man. They're going to offer Trey and Herb and see if they can get a great return. I don't think they're going to try to do pennies on the dollar. It'd be foolish. It'd be a fireable offense. It'd be malpractice if they got pennies on the dollar for a tremendous talent like Trey and even Herb. I know his offensive game wasn't the greatest, but he can still play lockdown defense, and he can fit on another team and make them an even better defensive team. So you cannot get pennies on the dollar for these 2 stars on this team.
Does that feel like it feels like 2 different trades, Trey in one and Herb in another, or you think they can package them?
No, it's got to be 2 different teams.
Right.
It's got to be 2 separate trades to me. I think that's just how the market is. I've been thinking all day. Fletcher has his own trades. He is the trade machine guru. He's been all over it for the last month. It's hard for me to think. I've been thinking, I know the Thunder won't do it. Having Caruso and maybe their 2 first-round picks for Trey Murphy, but they're trying to get off some money, but I think that would help them a lot. If they would make that trade to give them the 2 picks in the first round this year and get Caruso on this team, would be a number 2 next to, Pierce being the point guard, and maybe you trade Herb to the, Hawks for their second first-round pick, and maybe throw in another small salary player to make it work. So those are some of the things I've kicked around. I'm sure none of that is even close. The Golden State one seems to be the hot one right now with Trey, Moody, and Pod for the number 11 pick, and Trey. So that seems to be the hot one right now. I don't know how much I like it, but at least you're getting 2 young players and a pick in the top 12.
What are the odds that the Pelicans don't do anything today other than just sit back and make their second round pick?
That'd probably be the most Pelicans thing ever. Let everyone, their 2 top guys, 2 top assets on the team are available and doesn't happen. But that doesn't mean they won't be traded, this summer.
Right.
But they're all about, Troy and Joe are all about improving through the draft. And they've hit home runs in their draft history. They've done a good job in the draft. They did it last year with the 3 guys they picked. So I truly think they are going to do their best to get into the first round. They want to make a pick. They like this draft. They like how deep it is. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if they don't make it, but I'd be shocked, to be honest with you.
Sharif Ishak down in New Orleans covering the Pels and the Saints. The quietest time of the year for the Saints at this point. What is next for them? Is it simply just to wait the 6 weeks until training camp, or we have some sort of boxes they need to check over the next month?
So Tyler Shuck the other day on Wednesday, the second minicamp practice, said the receivers, they're all going out to San Diego, getting a house, getting a beach house, and they're going to get some help from Drew Brees, and they're going to get together and work out a lot, and see if they can get their chemistry built even more. There's a lot of receivers on this team, finally, it's a deep position. So they're going out to San Diego. He said he's going to Oregon and San Diego, but they're going to do a majority of their work together with Drew Brees in San Diego. So I think that's the biggest thing to keep an eye on over the next 5 weeks before training camp kicks off here. Those guys just, getting that much needed work and chemistry, and making sure he's comfortable and getting in sync with those guys. I think that's a very important thing, considering you got a lot of moving pieces with those receivers. But that's a plus sign. It's good to see him as a leader, man. It's a good, to have a quarterback who's ready to get out there and work with his guys. I mean, you want to see this offense progress. You want to see this franchise progress. And the best way to do it is have your quarterback take charge like he's doing this summer.
Enjoy the draft tonight, Sharif. We'll talk soon.
All right, brother. See you next Tuesday.
Sharif Ishak, WDSU, down in New Orleans. Our Tuesday shows brought to you by Immense Networks, Cloud IT Management. Look, Immense is a partner in your IT management. If you've got an IT department that is overworked, that is constantly running back and forth, trying to fix all the problems in the office, and just feel like maybe a little short-staffed there, then contact Immense. Immense is not here to replace those people. Immense is there to help. If you have a third-party IT department that you're just not happy with, contact Immense, immense.net. Immense is here to not only work with you with your IT, but also to use information and technology to better do whatever it is that you do. They're fantastic at being innovative and using technology, maybe things that you're not even aware exist, to help out in whatever line of work you're in. They help with security. They help with business development. They help with break and fix. They supplement the work that your current IT staff does. If you're between 50 and 100 employees, you're a local business, contact Immense. They're big enough that they can service larger companies. They're small enough that you're going to get that relationship feel from Immense. You can check them out online at immense.net. It's Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. They bring you our Tuesday shows each and every week. All right, Jordan, I'll let you opine on the draft here real quick. You look a little pensive, a little nervous over there over what's going to go on in the next 10 hours.
I'm not really more nervous. I'm just upset. I'm very upset because the fact that we're in a position where the number one pick of 2019, the generational prospect, that the savior and all this, that was crowned to come to the Pelicans, has little to no value at this point, and Trey Murphy is a more valuable asset, and Trey Murphy has to suffer for Zion's consequences of failing to reach his expectations. So, and then the fact that he's gonna, he's still on this roster in 2026, it's baffling to me that this team is, what is looking like they're pivoting towards, hey, Zion's our guy, when that's not the reality that they should be going in. Trade to, I'm seeing the Hawks, and then he talking about OKC. I'd rather just take a fork and jab my eyeballs out, honestly, than to watch that either happen tonight. But if you ask me to wrap this up, I think what the Pelicans need to do going forward-wise was obviously get off Zion and Herb. Trey Murphy's a shooter. You're going to spend more time trying to replace a shooter when you have no shooting. Move forward with Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen. That's your lane. You keep trying to run this back and be the top of the play-in. You're not the upper echelon team in the Western Conference, and teams are going to keep getting better. You need to move towards this youth movement, retool, but that's not what they're going to do. Well, you know what? You have Joe Dumars, Sleepy Joe at the helm. I can't tell you what's going to happen. I just got to sit behind the wheel and just watch this car wreck.
Do you think they pick in the first round tonight?
I would hope. I mean, man, it just depends on what they give up, but it's going to have to be Trey. So I think they will. Honestly, yes, because they like this draft. There's been months of rumor that they want to get into this draft. And when there's smoke, there's fire. So that's where I'm at with it.
At least it's interesting. More interesting than the on-the-court stuff the last couple of years.
It's interesting, but I'm just sick because what is going on? I can't tell you what's going on. We're a farm system. Yeah. That's what's going on.
Trey will be in the playoffs next year. Just
shout out to him. He's got out of hell. Shout out to him.
We'll see. NBA draft fires up tonight. Chris Marler walked into my office earlier today and he goes, "Hey, I'm working on graphics. LSU didn't have anybody that's going to get drafted tonight, do they?" And I said, "In the NBA draft? I don't think so. I think when he said draft, I thought he meant like the MLB draft. I was like, we got some of those. We don't got any that are going in the NBA draft. You can go ahead and take the night off. All right, we'll come back and close out the show next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust, FABT.com, FABT.com. Started up in 1910. 116 years later, they are still rocking and rolling, grown to 25 locations throughout South Louisiana. If you're in St. John Parish, First American Bank and Trust. Lafourche Parish, First American Bank and Trust. Terrebonne, First American Bank and Trust. St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, up I-12, First American Bank and Trust. There's a location near you if you're in Southeast Louisiana. If you need a personal loan, First American Bank and Trust. Need a commercial loan, you know it, First American Bank and Trust. Every decision that is made on those loans is made locally here in Southeast Louisiana. If you pick up the phone and call your bank when you bank with First American Bank and Trust, you get a local answer, not a call center somewhere on the East or West Coast. That's the difference when you bank local. And they've got the resources with those 25 locations to help you out. Check them out online at FABT.com. That's First American Bank and Trust.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
I'm Billy Schmidt, and I've been with First American Bank for 13 years. I have a passion of getting to know customers, getting to know their journeys, getting to know their stories, and being a small part of that, and just continuing that, and taking those relationships and expanding out into the community, just to make First American a household name. And people look at us and say, hey, what's special about you guys? You're part of a family.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Sports trivia tonight at Court to Table on Burbank, just after 8 o'clock. Start up about 8:05. Have you out of there by 9:15, 9:20. We'll have the NBA draft on. We'll have the World Cup on. You can come hang out, win gift cards, eat their awesome food, great drinks. It's a great time at Court to Table, so I invite you to come on out tonight to Court to Table on Burbank about 8 o'clock for sports trivia. You can come by yourself, bring a team. Always a great time. Hope to see you out there tonight. We got one more order of business left to go here on this Tuesday, and that is Take It or Leave It.
Take Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, the sportsbook hero, Brendan Sorsby, got some bad news today. So the NFL is declining to hold a supplemental draft this summer, currently leaving the 2027 draft as the only way for Sorsby to enter the NFL. A letter is being sent to Sorsby and to all 32 other teams. So the league continues to show that it has a little tolerance for gambling issues. So will Sorsby end up in the draft in 2027? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. I mean, he's a talented dude. I watched a lot of his highlight tapes when I knew that LSU was in the mix for him. I mean, he wasn't, first team All-American last year, but he's a good athlete, got a decent arm. He's got now massive off-the-field baggage, and he's going to have not played for a year, so he's going to have his stock hit pretty significantly here. But somehow give him a shot. It's quarterback.
All right, so the NFL Top 100 list that's voted on by the players is being rolled out currently. And Bryce Young was ranked at 98. Yes, Bryce Young, the Carolina Panthers quarterback. So is Bryce Young a top 100 player in the NFL? Take it or leave it?
Leave it.
Just leave it alone.
I'm not buying the Panthers. This is coming from the guy who told you for 2 weeks he wasn't buying Oklahoma and they won the national championship, so maybe the Panthers will win the Super Bowl this year.
Lord, please.
I just don't believe that's going to happen. I don't think they're very good. I think they lucked into – no, that's not fair. I think they played above their skis for about a month last year. Yeah. They got a big win in Green Bay. They were running the football extremely well, and they eked about over a disaster division
Atlanta.
where the Saints,
they kept beating
Saints
Atlanta.
in Atlanta were swapping quarterbacks in the middle of the season. The bottom fell out on Tampa, and Carolina was the last person standing on the aisle. And all right, I'll go to the playoffs if you want. They won't be going this year, so that's what I have to say about that.
All right, so Cam Jordan came in at number 100. So you feel any type of way about Cam Jordan making the list now?
I don't think he's a top 100 player in the NFL either. Ooh. I mean, I can't go through 100 players off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't either.
But I think Cam's sack numbers were awesome, and I think it's good that he's back on the team. I don't think he's a top 100 player in the league anymore.
All right, so McDonald's is bringing back the original fried apple pie for a limited time beginning today, June 23rd.
Okay.
The OG disappeared in the early 90s when McDonald's swapped for an oven-baked version.
Okay.
Now, 34 years later, the fan-favorite dessert is making its return. So, apple pie's original recipe, take it or leave it.
I'm going to take it.
Okay.
I'll take it. But if I'm going to McDonald's and getting a treat, it's going to be a McFlurry. Like, I'm going to...
what McDonald's you going to that they're selling those?
The machine, I'm sure, is broken.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure. But, look, it's a more delicious thing. Apple pie on my pie tier list is way down. It's way down. Like, apple pie tastes good. I'm not saying an apple pie is bad.
Okay.
There are better pies than apple pie.
Can we get a couple better than apple pie?
There's a lot of pie going on at my family Christmases and Thanksgivings. Chocolate is A tier. It's my favorite. Chocolate pie, phenomenal. Right. Coconut is excellent.
Okay.
I like a lemon pie as well. Those are the general go-tos. I like pumpkin pie. I'd rather a pumpkin pie than an apple pie. I like pumpkin pie.
A nice warm apple pie.
I mean, look, you give me an apple pie with a scoop of Bluebell vanilla ice cream on top, I'm a happy guy.
Okay.
That's the delicious dessert. It's down the list. I want some of the other ones before it.
Okay. Well, that's it for Take It or Leave It.
That's it for Take It or Leave It here on this Tuesday. Matt just tweeted this. Since he put it out on Twitter, I'll go ahead and just read it here as we finish up the show. Matt said at the Will Wade dinner last night, which was held at Supper Club, that boosters raised $2.5 million for this year's NIL roster at one dinner.
Huh?
That's good work. I'll just say that. I didn't contribute any cash to that. That's a lot.
One sitting.
That's Will Wade's a needle mover. You can hate him. You can love him. It doesn't matter how you feel about Will Wade. He moves the needle. And he moves the needle in this market incredibly hard. And obviously that happened last night.
What drinks were being given out last night? Will Wade, $2.5 million in one sitting.
That's where we are.
That is, I thought you were, what? That is crazy.
It's for basketball around here.
Exactly, not football.
Football's making 40. Jay's getting the top transfer portal class in baseball. A lot of things moving in Baton Rouge, it appears. But that's a jaw-dropping stat to hear. And Matt laid that out on Twitter earlier. I'm sure he'll have more talk about that on AFR later on today. Again, hope to see you out at Sports Trivia tonight. If you missed any of our show today, you can catch it on demand. We hit a lot of different topics today. I opened the show talking about Oklahoma's win in the College World Series, just kind of what that means for college baseball. It's further proof that this sport keeps teams relevant for a very, very long time because Oklahoma did not play great for 56 games, 57 games, count the SEC tournament, where LSU beat them, and they still found a way to the top, and they were clearly the best team in Omaha based on the way that they played for that 2 weeks. So awesome stuff for Oklahoma. I talked about that. Also chatted with Glenn West about all three LSU sports. You can find that at Hunt on LSU. I just think Rafael Devers should be cut from the Giants for not allowing a pinch runner to come in for him last night and then throwing a fit when they actually did pinch run for him. We talked about that at the end of hour number one. Gave a snapshot of the Alabama Crimson Tide and just how important this season is going to be for Kalen DeBoer at the helm in Tuscaloosa. There's a 4-game stretch over 5 weeks that I think will define them, and LSU is the last one of those. So talked about Alabama there. New NCAA rules, 5 for 5, was passed today. How does that impact LSU? I'm going to look into that this evening and tomorrow morning before I talk about it more on tomorrow's show. And then Sharif Ishak talking a little bit of Pell. So missed any of it, catch it on Hunt Palmer Show. Always invite you to our YouTube channels, Hunt on LSU, or you can find our LSU content, Hunt on Saints. You can find our Saints content every day. Matt's going to drive you home next one after further review. We're back tomorrow, Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. The one thing that David and his team do more often than any other job is the tub-to-shower conversions. If you've got a big bathtub that was maybe built in the 90s, all those jets and jacuzzis that you don't use, get rid of it. If you've got an old, dingy tub, get rid of it. If you've got a tub that doesn't really work anymore, get rid of it. Bathtubs take up a lot of space in your bathroom, and if you don't use them, why is it there? You can take it out, put in a gorgeous glass walk-in shower, completely change the aesthetic of your bathroom, completely change the functionality of your bathroom. And David and his team do it all the time. You can go to the website, OneBathAndClosets.com, and see the pictures of the great work that he has done. It is customized, it is new, and they do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. Check him out online. It's David Ball and One Bath and Closets. They're right there at OneBathAndClosets.com.
The experts at Hood Dental